So welcome back to Girls in the Fast Lane. I'm Ash.
And I'm Grace.
And today we have Sophie, the AusGP admin with us. How exciting.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Sophie. I'm 22 years old and I'm the AusGP admin. I got this role at the beginning of last year, fresh out of uni. As I was working on my graduation ceremony, I got the call that I somehow managed to become the AusGP admin, which was a bit of a dream come true.
Wow.
And yeah, from there, I've really just progressed my career very quickly to, I guess, this level within the sporting industry.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That is
yeah, it was a bit of a dream. Couldn't have asked for a more perfect outcome.
It's everyone's dream, I think.
Yeah.
Everyone at the moment, they're like, we want Sophie's job.
So true. Yeah, I'm very, very lucky to be in this position.
Yeah, but it came with a lot of hard work, so you should be very proud.
Definitely. I guess before I got this job, I was running a cake business. So from 2018 to up until the start of last year, I was making cakes for family, friends, and then it just kind of broadened to clients all over Victoria and Melbourne. So I guess, the hard work really paid off when I started to put together a portfolio on social media, build up that following, and that really helped me land this job. They saw my Instagram as essentially a portfolio and were able to use that as my basis that I can actually do this job.
I love that so much. I was a pastry chef back in the day, so
really,
yeah, I get the whole switch. It's really
it's very different.
It is, but I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, no, same.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Never lucky, always hard work. We
True.
as women always get told we're lucky, but it's always hard work.
That's very true. I love that saying.
So I was at the Harry Styles concert and I seen a DR3 head in the crowd. How did you get there? How did you end up taking Danny?
Well, that was a very last minute decision. I was walking out of work on the Friday night, and in the AusGP office, we have about 20 different driver and rider heads for MotoGP as well. And with Daniel being my favourite driver, I have been following closely the Harry and Daniel situation, I guess, on social media. And I was, no joke, about to walk out of the office and it just hit me and I was like, what if I took a Daniel Ricciardo head to Harry Styles? And the broader marketing team thought that was the best idea. And we kind of constructed this little plan to take him with us. And we all decided that if he was confiscated at the event, it was okay. We have another one. But it was kind of collectively decided that this was it, our chance. And we kind of just put this little plan together. We did initially have something written on the back of it, but I decided not to. I took that off as I was about to enter the venue. I just decided, no, let's just roll with the head. I think that's best case scenario. And as I was walking in, I just thought, if this gets up on the screen and I am able to make a TikTok out of it, this is going to go viral. And I was a bit worried how successful this could possibly be. Because it's pretty niche crossover. Harry Styles, Daniel Ricciardo. There's only a select few amount of fans, I guess, that really understand the whole collab. So as I was walking in, the security guard asked me whose head that was, and I kind of just laughed and said, "It's Daniel Ricciardo's." And he was like, "Nice," and just waved me through. So it was honestly easier than I thought. I was prepared to just hand him over at the gate, but. And then it was kind of a battle to just walk to my to the general admission area without being stopped about 50 times of people just wanting photos constantly in their cool Harry outfits with Daniel Ricciardo. And I guess I just planned it well. When he was speaking, I would put the head up, but if he was too far away or wasn't going to see it, then would never do it during a song. Towards the end of the concert, I was like, this is it. This is my time. And I just put it up, and the camera, I knew where the camera was, and I was kind of just angling it towards the camera. And I guess that's how it happened. It went up onto the big screen. Everyone laughed. It was kind of hilarious. I was devastated that he didn't see it. I really wanted Harry to see it, but, it's all right. We'll get there one day.
He sees everything. I refuse to believe that he doesn't know what's going on at his concerts.
Yeah.
So true, so true. It's pretty scary. He knows everything.
He does. Yeah, no, when I seen it, my best friend was like, look, oh my God, it's Daniel Ricciardo. And she's not even into Formula One. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was already crying. And I was crying even more. And I was like, how did I manage to get a video of that? Like, that was,
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
wow. It was only up there for 3 seconds, and I don't know, managed to somehow film it at the same time. That was terrifying, but my social media skills as admin kicked in, and I was ready. But I had a few people afterwards send me the video. That wasn't as shaky as mine.
Oh, that's awesome. All worth it. Hard work.
Definitely. Hopefully, we'll get a Harry and Daniel meet up eventually.
We're waiting. We are waiting, Danielle and Harry. Come
Those
on.
heads are like hard work, and I
Yeah.
I have a lance head, and I know
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
that
think you had a lance head. I remember last year. It was in your bedroom.
no, so that's
Was it
Emma.
That's
Emma
right.
had 2 lance heads, and she gave me one, so I still have my lance head that's in my bedroom, and I know that I know Grace has a George head, and
Yeah.
when we went to Singapore, there was
Good choice.
people that flew them over to Singapore.
Yeah.
Like we didn't because we were so scared that we'd have them taken off us at security. But
Yeah.
yeah, those heads have literally traveled
People
the
are
world.
committed. Oh, they have. People are very committed. I'm just
Yeah.
surprised that they're allowed on airlines. It bamboozles me. But I guess, security at the airport is just as lenient as the ones at Marvel Stadium.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure one of them was on our flight to Singapore because we saw someone in the airport with it, and we're like,
Really?
"What is going on?"
Oh my gosh.
And then she just like put it up into like carry on and was like tucked him into bed. I was like, oh, okay.
That's hilarious. I love that. So committed.
So committed. I said to Jaden, why didn't we just put it in our checked luggage? And then we could have this big George head. Like, why didn't we think of that?
True.
Everyone else took them.
If
Would
your
he even
suitcase was
fit?
big enough.
Yeah. Let me tell you, it
Sure.
was big enough.
Love it.
So you've told us a little bit about your journey into your position, but are you an F1 fan? Did you just fall into motorsport? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. I definitely can't say that I was the biggest Formula One fan. I'm happily put my hand up and say that. I guess I've always wanted to work in sport. I just didn't know what particular area. In 2019, 2020, I was lucky enough to come on board with AGPC as an accred assistant. And so that was just for the event week, which really got my foot in the door. And so I guess from like 2019 and then during COVID, I really followed the sport. And I guess Drive to Survive totally helped with that. Because what else was there to do during COVID?
Literally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was really lucky in that that helped me get my job in here. But yeah, I definitely can't say that I've been a massive rev head my whole life. I definitely enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I definitely didn't have that upbringing.
Yeah, look, neither did I. So I'm only here from, honestly, I'm a Drive to Survive fan from the start. My Jaden is a F1 fan and he kind of got me into it, but Drive to Survive really got me into Formula One. And I'm not
100%.
even ashamed to say it.
Good on you. And I think there's this massive, and I see it online all the time, there's this massive split between your loyal, traditional Formula One fans that have been around for years and years and years, and then there's the newer audience that has come on board in the last few years. And I just think, without them, the sport wouldn't be as big as it is today. And I think, the sport has allowed so many new people to discover this passion for Formula One. And yeah, you've seen the sport grow over the years, and I think it's just fantastic. Why are we shaming these people for being Drive to Survive fans? We're all here for the same reason. We all love the same drivers. I just think whether or not you've had 20 years on another person, yeah, I don't think it matters at the end of the day. As long as you enjoy it, go for
I
it.
completely agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean appreciation comes in so many different forms, and I think the Formula One is definitely very versed in the way people appreciate it. Whether it's if you find drivers attractive, whether it's you a Drive to Survive fan, whether you love it for the sport. Like I got into it because I loved it for the drama, like the whole Lewis and Max battle all through 2022, no 2021.
21.
Yeah, sucked me in, and I just couldn't look away. But I was also that person when I was, in my teens, like, why are you watching motorsport? That's not real. Like, that's not a real sport. They're not athletes. Like,
So true. Yeah, so true. I totally agree. And I think as women as well, there's this generalization that we're just Drive to Survive fans. And I guess in the way that I've worked, like I try to steer clear of like positioning women as that like they're only Drive to Survive fans, because I think we're so much more than that.
Yes.
It doesn't matter your background or how you got into the sport, as long as you're here enjoying it at the end of the day. That's really all that matters. But yeah, I'll happily say that I was brought on board like completely as a Drive to Survive fan. But yeah, I think there's no shame in where you started in Formula One.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. So, how many Grand Prix have you attended?
Oh, that's a good question. This Grand Prix coming up will be my third and a half, if you count 2020, because I guess that was cut short. And then I've also travelled to Singapore for the Grand Prix last year, which was a completely different experience. And we also do the Phillip Island MotoGP. So I guess if you're like counting both, then about 5, 6.
Oh my God, that's so exciting.
Yeah, so I think I really want to get to some more overseas Grand Prix this year as well, and next year, and really just take advantage of like learning as much as I can about the sport and how we can improve the way that we operate at the Australian Grand Prix.
I was reading an article today on the timeline of COVID and like how we went into lockdown and stuff, and the first thing it said was the first event that closed was the Australian Grand Prix. And I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot about that. Like I was sitting at work and I remember people being like, oh, the Grand Prix's been cancelled.
Yeah. That was such an infamous day. And yeah, even I think it was on the 13th yesterday, I could just see all the tweets flooding through on like this day 3 years ago. The event was cancelled.
Wow.
And it just brought back all these memories. But yeah, it was very unfortunate. And I'm very glad that we're past all the COVID cancellations.
Yeah, I think
Definitely.
I remember it. I remember it so clearly because I had moved back from, I just moved back from Sydney, and I remember like having a full rant, being like, "Who cares? Who cares if you cancel the Grand Prix? It's just cars going around." And now, if they cancel the Grand Prix, I would be like the first one at the gates, being like, "Excuse me, no."
100%. And yeah, I think because I was only on like during the event when it was cancelled, but now seeing like going into an event with like at least like over a year's work under my belt towards one event, it would have just been the most crushing experience, because you've put in 12 months of hard work for this event, and then just to have it ripped from under you within a matter of like hours would just be the like worst experience. But I definitely think it was in the interest of health and safety that they cancelled it. And yeah, look at what happened after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh.
Of course. You just were speaking about 12 months of work going into an event. What does your 12 months before the Grand Prix look like? How long does it take you to plan?
It's a good question. I guess now we're already looking to 2024. So if that's of any measurement, then yeah, I guess it's definitely a good 12 months in the lead up. But also, given we're also planning the MotoGP at Phillip Island for October as well, I guess our months are kind of broken into a rough 6 months each. But that's definitely not to say that behind the scenes it's at least 12 months of work for each event. And I guess, yeah, right now it's full on. We're in event mode. Clearly, as you can see behind me, the grandstands are up at Fangio.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely doesn't take a few months or weeks to plan. It's definitely a year or so to plan.
Yeah, that honestly, like I've worked in events a little bit and it blows my mind how much goes into a single event. And I can't even imagine doing something as big as the Grand Prix. And I know that next year we're the first race up. So, I mean, all eyes are on us straight away.
Yeah, it'll be massive and kind of terrifying. But yeah, it just shows how much goes on behind the scenes that fans don't see. And we are doing so much work behind the scenes just to give the fans the best experience possible. So yeah.
Yeah, I think also fans don't appreciate how much they do, but they don't see how much goes on behind the scenes. Like there is so much more to it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't even know where to begin, because I guess they only see a snippet of our day to day over the 4 days, and sure, social media can be great for promoting the event in the lead up, but that really is only just a snapshot of what is going on behind the scenes, whether it's the operations team, the comms team, infrastructure, the legal team. They're all working so hard in the lead up to the event, within the 12 months easily, and beyond, definitely 18 months in advance. Someone mentioned the 2025 event to me the other day, and that really just like shocked me. They're like, yeah, we're already
Oh my
planning the
gosh.
campaign, and I was kind of like, oh my gosh, it's only 15 days away until the 2023 event. Can we just get through that one first and then talk about 2024 at least? But it just shows how much planning does go on behind the scenes for these major events.
Over the 4 days, what does your day-to-day look like over like the main event days?
Yeah, so over the main 4 days, I manage a team of about 7 content producers. So
Oh,
they
wow.
come on board from the Tuesday, and I guess it all really flips. Whereas I'm just managing the group, and they're pushing out all the socials that I've organised to go out over the 4 days. But yeah, I've got a team of Instagram stories, TikTok, Reels team, and also the content producers. So they're sitting, pushing out socials like manually on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just pushing out all the comms and race results. But yeah, I'm essentially just managing the team, making sure that everything's running smoothly according to the plan. And yeah, I guess the plan's been, content plan's been in the works for months. So yeah, I think definitely the minute the MotoGP was over last year, I just immediately switched and started planning our content for the event this year. Because it definitely takes a long time, like bringing on partners, race results, the timings of everything, things going on around the circuit, because it can't be in 50 places at one time. It definitely takes a very long time to plan, and the output is a massive result.
Excellent. So, we have a follower question, which is very similar to what we just spoke about. But as AusGP admin, what does your day consist of?
In the lead up to the event, I guess I'm just constantly monitoring all of our social media, meeting deadlines that have to be met, whether it's with partners or following the races, the results overseas. Because the minute that our event is over, we do switch to following the rest of the traveling circus, I guess you could call it, the rest of the season. And yeah, that's really the main focus up until we start to go on sale towards the end of the year. But the day-to-day is monitoring socials, creating content, TikToks wherever I can, definitely managing customer communications and like all the DMs, comments, because there's a lot. But there's a lot of different areas and things I have to be responsible within the job, which is it's full on, but it's fantastic.
That would be really cool to see all the stuff you get tagged in though, because like everyone at a Grand Prix just posts majority of the time just really positive, happy edits, and like it's all just very euphoric, especially when you're experiencing that. So I think being on the receiving end of that, like holding that event, it would be really also nice.
Yeah, definitely. It's very rewarding seeing how excited the fans get and how happy they are, because this is very much the happy place for so many people. But yeah, there is definitely a side of TikTok and social media that you see. It's a bit questionable, but it keeps it interesting. But yeah, that's like part of the highlight of my job is seeing everyone's TikToks and Instagram photos, just saying how good their time was at the Grand Prix. It's fantastic. It's very rewarding.
Oh, that's awesome. Can you tell the difference between, like, obviously Formula One's grown since you started. Can you tell the difference with how the amount of comments and stuff that are coming through? Like, is it overload or not really?
It really depends on the type of post. If it's driver focused, then the comments are quite like they're full on. People are very passionate about the drivers and their teams, as you can imagine. But yeah, I think in the lead up to the event, it definitely builds. The engagement skyrockets. Like at the moment, you can see it's like a very seasonal trend. But yeah, it's fantastic to seeing all the engagement and people like making friends on the internet and everything, whether it's just through comments or TikToks. It's very wholesome to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how this podcast started, was TikTok comments really is becoming friends with people, and then like TikTok friends introducing each other to TikTok friends.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah,
So-
internet friends are some of your best friends.
Honestly,
yeah, it's so underrated.
that's how I've made all of my Formula One friends is from TikTok.
That's fantastic. I
Like,
love to hear that. It's so
yeah.
good.
What's your advice for someone attending the Grand Prix? Give us your tips, your tricks.
I would definitely say plan your day out as much as you can. We do have all the schedules and everything on our website, and the website is being updated constantly with new information. We also post on all of our social media at the start of each day, so planning what you want to see, because I guess the circuit is so big, and so you really don't want to be walking back and forth. I mean, get those steps up if you want to, but yeah, I guess it's just full on. Definitely stay hydrated, bring your water, sunscreen, hat, comfy shoes, and yeah, and I guess your passion and love for the drivers.
Yeah, honestly, AusGP last year was my first Grand Prix, and I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, we'll just walk around the track and see what's going on. And by the end of the first day, I had like 31,000 steps up, and I was like,
God.
I don't want to walk again for 3 days. And that was only on the Thursday.
Oh my gosh, that's nuts. Yeah, you definitely do accumulate so many steps, and knowing that you have to go back the next day, I guess you get a bit more, you become more planned of what you really want to see by the final day.
For sure.
But yeah, it's worth it. Totally.
Absolutely. Yeah, my first Grand Prix in 2019, we just had a park pass and we did like 13 Ks because we just walked around the whole thing the whole time. I was like, what are we doing? What is this? I think I seen
That's
cars on the track
nuts.
like for 10 seconds. It was crazy.
It's insane. It's so good to have a park pass from that respect, but God, having a grandstand seat is a holy grail. Being able to sit down is, yeah, very much recommended.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think the thing that I learned really quickly is always get all your fun stuff done on either the Friday or the Thursday. I mean, we're lucky here where we have the Thursday open as well. Not many Grand Prix have that.
Yeah.
But yeah, always get your fun stuff, like all your interactive stuff done on those 2 days. And then Saturday, Sunday, like just park yourself, enjoy it, eat, drink, be merry. And like, because the lines just get hectic and it gets pretty crazy on those days.
Yeah, for sure. And I think with Thursday and Friday being slightly quieter days, that is where the opportunity is to meet the drivers and be more interactive with them on Melbourne Walk. Because yeah, by the weekend it is just chaos and so crazy. So yeah, I would recommend going on Friday. Is such a good day to go because the drivers are a bit more relaxed. They're slowly getting into the weekend, but Thursday is also a really good bet to if you want to meet a driver. So cool.
And they're also
So
lovely
fun.
and polite. I remember sitting down at the Melbourne Walk last year, and Lando took like 2 hours or 2 to 3 hours to get from like one end to the other to get out. And I was like, imagine being his driver just waiting.
Yeah, it's so hectic. There was just I just remember there were thousands of fans in like the smallest little area trying to get just a glimpse of him. It's crazy.
Is it the same length as last year this year, or is it expanded or a bit
Yeah,
longer this year?
it's a little bit longer, just because we've reworked a bit of it, but we've also incorporated a few fun different things into it. There's a bit more music
Ooh.
and some fun hosts and entertainment along the Melbourne Walk, which is super exciting to see. But yeah, there's a massive structure that's just gone up over the walk, which you'll have to see when you come.
Oh, that's
I'm gonna,
awesome. If you
I'm
ever
gonna
need a
sneak
host
peek.
next year, I know a
I'll
couple.
definitely keep you guys in mind.
Yeah, let me interview. It's not going to be chaotic at all.
So another follow-up question. What's your favourite part about the track?
Oh, that's such a massive question because the track is so unique in so many different areas. I guess, I don't know. I really do love, it's hard. I do love pit lane. I love the paddock. I love seeing all the behind the scenes of how F1 works. But from a fan point of view, I don't know. It's such a big question. There's so many different areas, and I think it really depends on what you want to go and see, whether it's from a grandstand point of view or if you're park pass. Yeah, there's like amazing hills out the back on the golf course, or some of the grandstands like Brabham is just massive, and even Fangio being able to see the main straight, I think I think Fangio is probably my favourite, just to be able to see the start, the finish, and see them
Podium.
fly. Yeah, and the podium, of course. How could I forget? Fangio is probably my favourite part in terms of grandstand point of view.
Yeah, look. I was lucky enough to get a Fangio last year, and we're lucky enough to get very similar seats this year. So we're very excited because it was my absolute favorite place to sit.
That's
but
so good.
I think from a park pass point of view, I think the turn 10's really great. Like down, like down that back. That you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. That's where we did the surfacing of the track, and so we did make those changes just along the back of the course. And I think that's where the 4th DRS zone will be this year.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
I think.
Yeah, super exciting. So you'll really see the cars like go at full speed along there, which is slightly terrifying, but yeah, super exciting.
Yeah, it's a great spot. There's also the gravel trap, so like because it's the fast chicane, so if anyone comes off, it's
Hopefully not, but yes.
Yeah, we were there last year when Seb caught on fire and somebody else had come off into the gravel, which I mean, we're very lucky no one was hurt, but it makes it very real and it makes it very scary very quickly, and you're like, oh, this is you see it on TV and you're like, that looks bad and this is dangerous, but when you see it in real life, you're like, oh, that's a real big shock to my system.
Yeah, TV does not do it justice by any means. Like, it's not until you're at a Grand Prix and you see those cars fly past you, it really is just like, you just step back and you're like, holy shit, like, how are they going so fast? It's hard to comprehend, honestly. But yeah, I really respect the endurance and the level of training that they have to go through to be able to withstand that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Cars going fast. We know that in Canada that they relocate their groundhogs. In Australia, what do we do for our swans? We have a lot of swans down at Albert Park, and they're very dear to me.
Yeah. We really try to just like leave them in their natural habitat, I believe, because this is a part of Parks Victoria. They're very heavily involved in making sure that the wildlife remains untouched and safe at all times. But yeah, I don't know of any relocation for the swans or birds for that matter. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that they stay in their natural habitats where it's a bit more quiet.
So my new theory is now that the little island in the middle of the lake, I feel like they may all congregate there for the weekend.
You might be right. I have no clue.
I
would have done some research if I had known.
Yeah.
It could be the theory. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me if they did migrate naturally to a more quiet area of Melbourne. But yeah, you could be right. They might be on that island.
It's a question that has, I think, really bugged me for like 8 months when we first went down to Albert Park and did a track walk, me and Emma, and we did like a video of us driving around the track the first time, and we're like, there are so many swans, like when like we were just very confused on where all these swans came from. So now it's been on my mind. It's really plagued me. So the whole weekend I feel like I'm just going to be looking out for swans.
Well, let me know if you find where they are. I'll keep an eye out for them as well. But
don't worry, I'll keep you updated.
Love that. I've never thought of that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go away tonight and go and ask some people some questions.
Yeah, see, it's going to bother you too.
True, yeah. I think it's very much left up to Parks Victoria to organise, but yeah, we're very conscious of like our impact around the circuit and Albert Park and not disturbing them too much.
Yeah, well, I mean, Parks Victoria heads their head office is like right there, right? It's
yeah. I believe it's just near MSAC, near the golf course. Yeah, so they're on site, and yeah, they are very much involved, oversee everything.
That's really great to hear, because like you look at how many people, it's like 400,000 people walking through that park over 4 days. And I mean, last year we were very lucky, and I'm praying for great weather again this year. But you can see the damage that it could do to a beautiful parkland like that.
For sure. And I think we definitely take that into account, and our environmental impact is looked into before and after the event. And we're very conscious of the way that we operate, making sure that we don't do much harm at all and leave the park in as good a shape as we found it in. So there's definitely practices in place within the operations team and the environment, the sustainability team, doing work behind the scenes, making sure that our park remains as beautiful as always for the next year.
That's amazing. Seb would be very proud.
Oh.
I hope I'm doing him proud. Got a whole grandstand named after him in his honour.
Yeah. It's going to be sad not to see him there this year. I'm going to be very sad.
I'm going to cry.
I know. It's really sad. Seeing him on the scooter last year was definitely a highlight. It was absolutely
Oh,
hilarious.
absolutely.
It was really the send-off that we planned.
Yeah.
I love the
all
fact
on
that like
purpose.
someone's now with it, like they were just out without a scooter for the rest of that day, or like for a portion of that day, because like Seb's like, yeah, I'm going. Like,
yeah, he just took off. It was so funny. God, yeah. I just remember watching it on the TV, and I was like, what is he doing? But I'm so here for this. This is great content.
Always got to think about the content.
Yeah, always.
Let's just hope Fernando follows in his footsteps, you know.
Yeah, no comment. Yep. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he performs, and yeah, already he's doing incredibly well with Aston Martin this year.
Yeah.
It's only been one race.
It's crazy how well he's doing. We talk about it a lot. We're like, oh,
we're big Aston fans over here. I'm a neutral fan, so I'm a fan of everyone. But yeah, I'm a big Aston fan, a big McLaren fan.
Love that. Yeah, you have to support Oscar. We really need to build the
100%.
fan base for Oscar because it's going to be hard to reciprocate that. Yeah, with how everyone loved Daniel so much.
Absolutely.
For sure. We've talked about it quite a bit and I feel he's in a very unfair position at the moment. But he's Australian, and I think that Valtteri Bottas is now an honorary Australian. So we've got two Australians on the grid still.
Definitely. I saw a comment saying that he was Finn-Australian, and I really like that.
That is awesome.
Valtteri, because he's definitely channeling the mullet and the Australian traditions. Hope that he moves here one day. It'd be fantastic. He is our honorary Australian citizen.
Yes. I totally agree. I've got one to slip in. Do you have favourite drivers?
Yes and no. I think with my job, I have to be pretty unbiased with how I favour the different drivers and the amount of screen time that I give them on our socials. But last year, I was definitely a massive Danny Rick fan. You could probably tell on our social media we turned into a Daniel Ricciardo fan account a few times.
No shame.
But yeah, I really want to get behind Oscar as much as I can. I think he has a lot of talent, and he's really come up the ranks and proved himself that he'll be like a world champion eventually. But yeah, I'm a massive Lewis Hamilton fan and Charles Leclerc. They're probably my two favorites. Yeah.
You would have been happy last year.
You're my kind of gal.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, we're pretty lucky this year with F3 and F2 coming out. We have 5 Australians debuting. And Jack Doohan in F2 debuting. So I mean, that's really exciting. I'm really excited to see F2 and F3. So it's gonna be
it's so exciting. When I found out that they were coming, I just thought that was gonna bolster our event even more. With Jack Doohan in F2 and then Hugh Barter, Tommy Smith, and Christian Mansell in F3. It's so exciting just to see like the Aussie young guns making their way up the ranks. I think like they have a lot to show, and the Aussie fans are really in for a treat with them. Super excited to see how they perform.
Yeah. Now, I know you have to be unbiased, but can you please give me an Australian Grand Prix prediction?
Oh, it's so difficult to even it was so early on in the season.
Yeah, we've only had one race, so the pressure's on.
It is really on. I'm probably hoping for a Charles Leclerc podium. Would love to see Lewis up there. I don't even know. Like, it's really difficult to even pick favourite. Let's go Oscar.
Yeah. Woo!
I never know with McLaren, but I'd love to see Oscar on the podium. I think eventually, whether it's this year or in the years to come, there's nothing like a home podium in front of like your home crowd.
That's it.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for coming on our podcast and letting us interview. We appreciate it greatly.
No worries. Thank you so
Yes.
much for having me. This is so much fun. Loved it.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It was really
We
good
try to make
chat
it good.
Yeah, I love chatting to the fans online, so it was good to actually chat to fans over a call for a podcast.
Yeah, well, we're on call anytime you
Definitely.
need us.
Okay,
Anytime.
noted.
I can't believe we just interviewed the OzGP admin. She was so lovely.
She was awesome. I'm very proud of us. Well done.
I'm putting cheering here.
Yeah.
No, that was really incredible. She was so lovely. I cannot believe she's 22 and leading a team of 7.
That's I should have
Wild.
I should have said that. I was about to say you're 22, but I forgot.
That is incredible. Oh,
What a
I'm so happy for her. She was such a dream.
what an extremely smart woman.
Mhm.
Like switched on, awesome. And like she had me at the start. I don't know if you noticed. I was like sitting back. I was like, I'm gonna cry. I'm so proud of her.
Oh, I love that. Well, it's not the OzGP yet, but the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is this weekend. Are you excited? Do you like Jeddah?
Yes, I do. I do. I'm very excited. I was just thinking about what I was doing this weekend, but I am going to be watching it all.
I'm pretty sure it starts early for us, like
Yeah.
weirdly early.
Practice 1 is 12:30. Practice 2 is 4 a.m. Practice 3 is 12:30. Qualifying is 4 a.m. and the race is 4 a.m.
Okay, so my problem was like I looked at that and was like 4 p.m. in the afternoon. How great.
Oh my goodness. Yes, if you're watching the Japan Grand Prix.
This is the second race of the season. The weather in Jeddah is going to be an average of 30 over 3 days, which, I mean, I think it's going to be cloudy on the Saturday, but for the rest of the time, there's not a cloud in the sky. It's going to be hot and sandy yet again.
Hot and sandy.
The first race was only in 2021 at Jeddah, making it one of the newer tracks on the calendar, and it does not disappoint. Last year, we had so much chaos.
Shumi Jr.
Yeah. Yeah. Shumi Jr. had a 33G crash in quali. And Max had the lap of a decade, but seemed to lose it in the last corner and tap the ball, stealing away the almost perfect lap that had everyone mind blown.
Max.
I think that was last year. It could have been the year before.
No.
But
Max, he's just a different breed, that man.
honestly, it makes me mad at how good he is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all here for it, and I'm so supportive of it because I think, wow, you've done amazing. You're world champion 2 years in a row, possibly 3. Killing it. But also, like, give everyone else a go. Stop hogging it.
Next.
The race was just as dramatic as quali, with 3 virtual safety cars, Nicholas Latifi having a large crash in lap 16 to only then have another VSC in the 21st lap as Daniel Ricciardo had rolled to a stop at the pit entrance, which was like the start of the downfall of Daniel Ricciardo and McLaren in 2022.
We don't speak of these. We do not speak of these things.
With the final safety car of the race coming from our third step podium man, Fernando Alonso. In all, we had 5 DNFs. Do we think this is going to happen again in 2023?
I'd like to because I like a little bit of spice.
Do you like a little bit of spice? And also, the track looks like a giant squid. I know that we sounded very professional there for a moment, but I'm going to bring it back to earth with the Jeddah track looks like a squid.
Okay, it looks like a giant worm.
Or a tadpole?
A tadpole, yeah.
Our giant squid track is only 50 laps at 6.1 kilometers long, with a total race distance of 308 kilometers, which is the huge.
Fabulous. I love all these facts because I'm learning as we go. Once again this week, guys, we are learning together.
I don't think there's any updates for this track. I definitely think that we're going to get a better overview of where the cars are at, because I feel like that Bahrain is a very selective track.
Yeah,
depending on the car. And I know that all tracks are like that, but at the same time, I feel like we're going to start seeing some more consistency from certain teams and where our weaknesses lie. coming in strong with all our fun facts and what we have learned in the last week. Who do you think is going to be standing on the top step of that podium?
Max.
I mean, she's not wrong, is she, ladies and gentlemen and folks?
No. Second?
Yeah.
Second, Alonso. Third, Charles.
Wow. An Aston Martin beating the Ferrari.
Yes.
That's fun. I like to go with the unhinged predictions because I like to just pretend that Max doesn't one exist and two, but like in a good way. Like I just want to share it around, guys. And two, that anything could happen. You know, it's Formula One.
Anything can happen.
We've seen some interesting things. We've seen Esteban Ocon win the Hungarian Grand Prix. We've seen Lando Norris lose the Russian Grand Prix. We've seen a 1-2.
1-2.
We've seen 1-2s. We've seen lots of things. We've seen an Aston Martin on a podium, which I mean is a real eye opener for this season. Which means my predictions are going to be this: we're going to have Charles on the top step because he's winning the World Championship this year. I refuse to believe otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
I then will agree with you that Alonso will come second.
Wonderful.
I would love to have Lance up there with him, but I feel like Lance's wrist is probably just not there yet. But I do think that he'll probably be in the top 5.
Fantastic.
And in third, I'm going to go Carlos Sainz.
Okay. Another Ferrari.
I predict a double DNF for Red Bull. So that's where I stand for that.
Wonderful. We like it.
Oh my God. Before we go, we didn't even mention Pierre Gasly.
I know. I was going to say, are we doing another episode where we're going to talk about that, or just a whole episode on Pierre Gasly?
Just a whole episode on Pierre Gasly saying girls in the fast lane. Yep. Pierre Gasly gave us a shout out on the Alpine. Yeah, and it was sent to me at 6:30 in the morning by Liv Laughlids, our lovely, lovely friend from the UK. I'm sure you all know who she is.
We all know and love Lids.
And she's like, "Hey, is this referencing you?" And I was like, I didn't understand what she was talking about, and I was like, "What is she sending me?" And then it played, and I was like, "That's my comment." I commented that he is referencing us. He's talking to us.
Screaming, crying, throwing up.
I then proceeded to message Reis at 6:30 in the morning, be like, "Oh my God, wake up. If you're not awake, look at this. Oh my God. Watch this." And just like gave her no context. And then Grace went into shock.
Yeah, literally. I went into shock and didn't realize until halfway through the day that Pierre Gasly said our name.
Yeah.
He's my favorite driver, if you didn't realize, everyone. I mean, we don't have favorites here. I have many favorites, but he's at the top.
He's one of them. He's in the top 5, guys.
Yes.
Also, how can you not love Pierre Gasly? He was besties with Ricardo.
Yeah, Pierre Gasly.
But listen to this.
In the fast lane, all French lineup. Let's go.
He's talking about us. So and not just us, guys. He's talking about all of us, our community, our little love bubble that we have created. He knows that we exist. So let that make your day be brighter.
Keep listening to Girls in the Fast Lane.
We thank you so much because we wouldn't be here without you, and we appreciate that and we recognize that, and we are so grateful to have you as listeners and a part of our little love bubble. If you have not been to our website, go check it out. We have merch. We also are dropping our jewelry line very, very soon. So keep your eyes peeled on our socials.
Yes.
Which is like Instagram, TikTok, the whole shebang. Subscribe, put notifications on so you get instantly notified whenever we have posted.
Because look at this. I mean, too bad if you're not watching the YouTube, but look at that beautiful little...
Grace is wearing one of our necklaces.
You could have one of these. We're calling it a day.
Calling it a day. Day done.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.